the fun thing when you go back and watch it, is you know they're laughing because they also know the table's coming.
You wouldn't want to see me succeed.
I'm the greatest showman.
You fucking up as you succeeded.
You can't sneak a fart past Howard Stern.
JD is a waste of 2 thumbs.
Whatever.
Oh, wait, he just went up. Hold on. He's almost even. Oh, my God, you got to watch this. Brent's got his package. Brent at the Radio Hall of Fame.
He's very passionate about the Hall of Fame, Howard.
Wow.
He's almost a spokesperson.
So you're really into Radio Hall of Fame.
I am. I am.
Such a nerd.
I think. Agreed. But I think it should have the same level of respect that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has.
I think his next project is he wants Fred to get in.
I want Fred in and Gary in and the Howard Stern show.
I want Fred in.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I want Fred out.
like, look,
I want Fred out of here and in the Radio Hall of Fame. I want them to
They
put his
can
whole...
actually have Fred in the Hall of Fame.
Fred, seriously, you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Of course.
I don't know about that.
definitely.
Yes, I do.
Look at how
Look how humble.
Look how unique. What the unique thing that Fred does. Nobody else in radio does what
Go
Fred
ahead.
does.
What does he do again? Just remind me.
What does he do again?
They don't want to do it. No one wants it.
Nobody wants his job.
No, remind people what Fred does.
Well, he adds a
Not me. I mean, people.
he adds a layer to this show that's really incredible
He
with
does.
the sound effects.
I love him. Fred should be in the Radio Hall of Fame.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, why Gary?
And the other
Yeah, that's the question.
Oh.
Gary do?
Gary,
There should be a...
By the way, Howard played clip 18 for JD.
Yeah. Go to
Go to clip
I think
18.
that's clip 3,
Yeah,
both.
clip
go to
3.
priority page.
Priority page. It's in
Yeah, Brent,
yellow.
why are you
At the
advocating for
top,
Gary?
to the left.
because
Gary is a personality and he speaks well
Yes.
on the
air,
right.
he's been a great
That's
producer
right.
for a lot of years.
I want to
volunteered
nominate
lots
someone
of
to...
interesting stories for the show,
Right.
like the
Shut
Schwilke
up,
buzzer.
Gary.
Yeah, well, you know what, Gary Puppet, you don't have to convince me.
Did I tell you about the time when I was very young and I actually was going to maybe go into the pet supply business? There were
Yes.
two
No, I don't
guys who
remember
were
that.
at the store and I worked for them. I would sell the wee-wee pads and they said, you know, if we ever open a second store on Long Island, we would like you to orchestrate that.
Wow, what an accolade.
Can I tell you what a genius Fred is for a second?
Right.
So Fred starts texting me like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He goes, I got to tell you, Gary, I've never read your book. I'm going to read your book. And then he's sending me all these texts about heartfelt things in the book. And then I realized he's reading the book so he has material to make fun of it.
Right. Good find you.
Ammunition.
Right.
It's called research.
Now, Gary Puppet, if you really got into the Radio Hall of Fame, do you have an idea of what you would say? Or
I think I would talk about my Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh yeah, what's
with
that?
my mother. See, my mom would cook this Thanksgiving dinner. She would make the the sweet potatoes with marshmallows and the turkey and the spaghetti and the meatballs. But on a side table, it was like a little kid's table. She had this little card table, and she would put the artichokes and
All right, thank you. Well, you're right, Brent. If anyone deserves to be in the Radio Hall, you know who I want to nominate to the Radio Hall of Fame?
Who's that?
Right there, J.D. Harmon.
Yes.
I'm not kidding you. Just to hear his speech.
Yes.
But I mean, seriously, you're good on the air. I mean, good, bad. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Whatever.
All
All right.
I mean, just Jay Deany.
Joke over.
What do you want from me?
If Fred's not in there, I'm definitely not in.
Fred, you're in my Hall of Fame.
I'm an emotional eater.
Watch
I'm
this.
about to go in the seat.
Eric, do you think my book is flying off the shelves because of this right now?
Oh, absolutely. After this, yes.
No, I think the shelves are empty.
All right, how
Look
do you
at
get
that.
in here?
right,
He's
Eric.
got to get down? What do
on
you...
my knees.
Yes.
Let him load in.
Oh.
What was that noise?
That's him.
Eric, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? Does it hurt you to get down on your knees?
Not really.
Then why do you make that noise?
When he has to put effort into something, Howard, that
You get
noise
that leg
comes
out
out.
there?
What are they doing? They're kicking him.
You know,
What
he
are
doesn't
they
look that fat right now in his singlet.
Well, he's in a
But,
giant scale.
all right, Eric, you're in there. They're strapping you in. And now let's begin. JD, you're going to load the books?
Yes.
All right, he's in
Are
securely.
we good to load?
JD, you're going to do a stack of 10 at a time?
Yes.
Actually,
All right, let's keep track, everyone.
So, Howard, here comes the first stack.
First stack.
You got to see this. 1.
Doesn't even budge.
Nothing. Eric didn't lift at all. That's $10.
Second stack.
$20 and Eric hasn't budged.
The scale is still tipped to the floor.
Third stack.
$30 and Eric hasn't budged off the floor.
JD bringing fourth stack.
JD's workout. 4 stacks. That's $40.
Hold on, we're not done. Hold on. All
right, there it is.
It
40
hasn't
bucks.
still budged. Still hasn't
Eric,
budged.
do you feel like you're moving at all?
No.
All right.
Fifth stack.
Fifth stack.
That's 50 books,
50 bucks.
nothing.
I think I'm in big trouble with my prediction. I think Fred's looking like a genius.
Stack number 6.
60 books, and Eric has not lifted off the ground. Jesus Christ.
Okay, here comes 70.
He's putting it down now.
I'm out of the game.
70 books,
70
nothing.
Nothing. He
Couldn't
hasn't
get a
moved.
pubic hair
My
through
guess
that.
was 75, so I'm eliminated here.
Here comes 80.
80. Let's see if that moves. 80 books. Have you moved at all, Eric?
No.
He's flat on the floor.
All right.
Well,
This
there
is
you
our
go.
first level. We can only get 90 books on the first level.
All right.
So 90 books are on the scale now. What happened?
I saw it move a little
Did
bit.
you move,
Did it
Eric?
move, Eric?
I think I'm not sure.
Okay, here we go. 100 books, Howard.
Oh, yeah, it's moving.
Oh.
There was some movement.
It moved just a tiny bit.
It moved a tiny bit. All right.
Yes.
Stack number 11. 110
around
books
here.
is coming up right now.
Stay calm, Eric.
110 copies of
Make sure that
Howard
stays up
Stern
there,
Comes Again are on
Uh-oh,
a scale.
getting close to me now.
Okay, here comes stack number 12, Howard.
120 bucks.
Oh, there was a little bit of movement,
Little
but
bit
not
of movement.
much.
A little
Yes,
bit.
just a little bit.
He is off the floor.
Here comes stack number 13. This would be 130 books, Howard.
I said 130.
I'm out of it.
Yeah, I'm out.
130. Whoa, wait. He just went up. Hold on. He's almost even. Oh, my God. You got to watch this on there.
130.
So now,
Eric.
Howard, now we're going to go to single books.
All right. 130.
I said 130, right?
He said
Yeah, but it's,
150.
you're going. You weren't right, but you might win.
Okay, here comes 131.
You said 150.
31.
Moving.
Oh.
That light's going to turn green.
When it gets even.
Yeah.
Look for the middle light.
132.
Oh. Oh.
The light's not on yet.
Here comes 133.
Oh, this is so fun.
133 copies of Howard Stern Comes Again.
Wow.
Wow. Well, let me take a look at the predictions here. Fred, you were way over at 400 bucks.
Sorry.
Let's see. Somebody, I guess Eric wins.
Eric
said
was the
between
one who said 130 to 150, and
Yeah.
I think he settled on 150.
He did.
Oh, he did. So, Robin, you win at 120 because you were under.
I am. I'm the winner.
You're the winner.
What'd you win?
Ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election.
Yeah, a lot of people have written me about this Fartgate. On Hardball last night, there was an obvious fart, and Chris Matthews is calling it fake news. He says it was his cup running against the desk. There's no fucking way. Listen, people are experts. You tune in, people are experts in sports, and they're on TV. People are experts in the stock market. I'm an expert in farting. I know when it's a fart, and this was a fart. It was a fart. It's not a cup. And I can even prove it. I'll do an experiment.
How?
Well, first listen to the tape, Robin.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans...
That's a little
That's a fart.
fashion forward.
Here's a mug, the Jeff the Drunk Cholo mug, as you can see. And I have a similar surface here to the desk at MSNBC.
How do you know that?
Because I watch that show every night, and it's a sleek, slick surface. That's how I know.
You don't know where that cup was. It could have been sitting on a mat.
So look, this is what a cup sounds like on a surface like that. You hear that? Here, listen to this. Listen, Robin.
You don't even know if it's the right kind of mug.
Yeah, it is.
How do you know?
Because they have a Cholo mug on the set. That's what a mug sounds like. And now,
Your science is specious.
now let's go back to the tape.
The president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Yeah.
And the complaint that
Okay.
I've heard from Republicans...
I'm a fart scholar. I've studied farting since, I don't know, college.
But you don't have the exact material.
You can't sneak a fart past Howard Stern. And what's with all this shame and embarrassment? Stop it. Do what I do. Make it part of the show. What an incredible thing to do, to become the head writer on Saturday Night Live.
I think it's the title I'm proudest of.
Do you watch the show religiously every week?
I watch fairly religiously, and I would say that I tend to the next on Sunday, like watch the sketches that people say are really good.
Do you sit there and go, how the fuck did they let that on? When you see something that's a real clunker.
Well, I remember that every single show I ever was head writer for, there was a fucking clunker.
Right.
So I have such appreciation for how hard that show is.
How do clunkers happen? In the sense that you work these things out ahead of time.
You don't have there's not a lot of
Right.
ahead of time.
Right. You have a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Some of these sketches go over pretty big in dress rehearsal, right?
Most of the clunkers were also clunkers at dress.
But you just have nothing else.
Right.
And you put them on knowing they're a clunker.
Well, you think, okay, between dress and air, let's fix it. Let's do everything we can, all hands on deck.
Maybe someone could even up their performance.
Yes. The reality is the things I'm proudest of, which is, will sound negative, is like sometimes the hardest thing to do is to turn a C- into a B-.
Right.
You know,
That's tough.
If it's a C- at dress, it's not going to be an A.
See, that's why Farley was such an important part of Saturday Night Live, because
Yes.
that guy could take a clunker
Yeah.
and through sheer physicality or whatever the fuck magic he had,
Right.
he could probably elevate a C-, as you put it, to maybe even an A.
Yeah.
When he did the guy who lives in a van down
Yeah.
by the river, you knew he could come in and deliver the goods. If you think about it, without him, no one could deliver the goods on that.
I also saw somebody posted on Instagram a video of their 8-year-old dressed up like that for Halloween.
I saw it too.
And you just go, it's so cool for a comedy sketch, which is a very dark comedy sketch, by the way.
Right.
Like Matt Foley is life's not going well for him.
Right.
But it so endures. And I think those are the best things on SNL, which is they kind of work cross-generationally, which is a kid could watch it. You know, when I was young, when I saw Matt Foley and thought it was so funny. And then the older you get, you realize all the wonderful details about how bad his life is.
I got to admit, I always admired Saturday Night Live because they wanted to be the anti-Carol Burnett, so therefore they would not laugh during the sketches.
Yeah.
But then when I do watch the Matt Foley sketch, and Christina Applegate and David Spade are just, they can barely contain their laughter.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing a lot of doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
And then when Chris just crashes into the coffee table with his body,
Yeah.
and everyone is just laughing. I do love those moments. Would you get upset when the people acting in these sketches would start to break character and laugh?
I never liked it if it was because the sketch was bombing.
Right. That's Carol Burnett.
Right.
Yeah.
But the idea that no one in the audience would blame Christina Applegate or David Spade. I mean, they're watching it. They can't contain themselves.
Right.
They're right next to him. Plus, the fun thing when you go back and watch it is they're laughing because they also know the table's coming.
Right.
So they're both laughing at what's happening in the present and they're laughing at what's happening in the future.
Hit him with the
Hey, I want to mention that John Hine, this is not my observation, but a lot of the guys came to me and said, do you know about High Energy John?
No.
The theory around here is there are two John Hines. There's regular John Hine that you hear on the wrap-up show, and High Energy John, right?
You mean even on the wrap-up show, he's not High Energy John?
No. Wrap-up show is slightly higher energy John than you get here. But really, where the high energy, where Hit Him with the Hind came from, is that sports show he does. Where he turns into a completely different
What
human
is the
being.
sport? Let's give John a plug. What is the sports show?
It's called Loudmouth
is-
on SNY Network. It's the regional Mets network
All right, so
here.
let's give everyone an example of High Energy John.
Yes, I would like to hear.
Here's John from his TV show Loudmouths.
This gate thing, it drives me up the wall. Can we please put an end to adding a gate to every single controversy that happens in professional sports? Right. It was called Watergate. Do you know why? Because the name of the hotel was the Watergate Hotel. That makes sense. All these other gates, it's lazy journalism.
Wow.
He's got opinions. He's forceful.
John has opinions.
Well, don't they powder his head for that show?
Oh, yeah. It's
Don't you think that powder has something in it where they give him some kind of peppy powder?
It's like laced with cocaine.
It's laced with it's like
Confidence
Popeye
pills.
with spinach. That's my theory. That's not the John I know.
I can't even imagine him producing that voice.
John, I mean, where is this energy coming from? Is this a new persona you're putting on?
Well, on the TV show, when it comes to that sports topic, I was pretty fired up for sure. But one thing I do want to clarify, and I think even Jason will admit it, I have the same energy level on Wrap Up as I do on Loudmouths.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I've never seen you that fired up here.
When has he ever yelled?
He's never yelled at me like that before.
No, not even about Hit Him with the Hind.
No. I've said
John
some
even
shitty
dresses wacky for his television show. He wears Hawaiian shirts sometimes. He once dressed up as Woody from Toy Story during Halloween. And he even dressed up as a leprechaun.
What?
That is true.
Yeah.
There's a whole other thing going on here.
Look, I'm kind of happy with the John Hein I have because I like your natural kind of energy.
Well, here,
calming.
I have a different role. You know,
Yeah,
when
you're normal.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm in the back. You know, I'm working on research and
But
taking
is
notes
it
for
a
wrap
genuine
up.
performance when you're on this sports show?
Yes.
And you're carrying on like that.
See, I think it's fake.
Because, okay, we're looking at the broad... Okay, John Hein on the radio, fine, this show is different than John Hein on SNY. But when we're outside of the office, and you and I talk almost every morning about TV or politics or sports, and the John Hein I hear in the office is the John Hein that comes onto this show.
John Hein barely moves his
Right.
lips, I tell
Right.
people.
Wait, John Hines standing right here. Hold on.
No. This is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hein.
Hit him with the
telling
Hein.
you. Hit him with the Hein.
Hit him with the Hein!
Can the real John Hein please stand up? This is, I'm starting to see there's a new personality.
I'm
right
beginning
now.
to worry.
Robin, how many times have we put a mirror under John Hines' nose to make sure he's breathing?
Yeah.
And this new John Hein, it's remarkable. Well,
I
listen.
didn't know he even had a pulse.
Is it fair to say this is John Hein-gate?
This is Hein-gate.
Hein-gate.
Howard,
Hold
can
on.
you believe John Hein on SNY is a completely different person?
Babylon, Babylon. Yeah. Sunday, all the lights in London shining, sky is fading, red to blue. I'm kicking through the autumn leaves and wondering where it is you might be going to. Then I'm turning back for home, you know I'm feeling so alone, I can't believe. Climbing on the stair, I turn around to see you smiling there in front of me. Whoa, yeah. And if you want it, well, come and get it. Crying out loud. The love that I was giving you is never rain down. Let go yard, let go yard, and feel it now. Let go yard, let go yard, and feel it now. Let go yard, let go yard, and feel it. Let go yard, let go yard, and feel it now. Babylon, 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 Babylon. Why?
Jello.
I'm going to go to Jeff the Drunk, your boyfriend. Yes, Jeff.
Jello.
Shut up.
Get the fuck up your mouth, Robin. I'm talking.
You're not saying anything.
Howard, Bobo yells at me for fucking using the show, and he just posted on his Twitter Cameo with a big picture of him and you, and he's a big user, and I want you to tell him that.
Okay, hold on. I'll get him on the line.
I'm a fucking user.
Bobo, you're a user if you're using my picture on your Cameo.
First of all, Jeff, why are you bringing up my fucking name again?
Because you're a fucking user, Bobo. You always say you use the show.
You're an ingrate. You never thank the fans.
Bobo,
You never thank the fans.
You're doing what you're yelling at me not to do. Fuckface.
I had Howard's picture up there for a long time since I was in the studio, you asswipe.
Battle of the Network Nobodies.
Oh, my God. This is the
hell's
worst
wrong with you?
argument.
You got no agenda when you call up. You just worry about what I'm fucking doing. Don't
That's an
worry about
agenda.
what I'm fucking doing.
I know what I'm fucking
You're right.
Yeah. You got no agenda when you call up, just like me. You're ripping me off, user.
That's right, Fred.
Shula, what's everyone talking about? I'm confused.
So here's the bottom line.
Right.
Jeff is upset because his cameo doesn't get anywhere near the action as these other guys.
No, I'm upset because I don't get to plug it the way Bobo.
No, they don't plug it either. Howard doesn't let. Listen, if they.
Like I fucking do, and you don't just sit on all the time like I do.
Don't yell at me.
I give you fuck you too.
What?
Hello?
You too.
What?
Here he goes. I told you, Howard. Third call he calls about me. Third fucking time in
Let me
a
talk.
matter of a week.
Bobo's not getting yelled at for saying
Bobo, you're like
I feel like we're in kindergarten.
I know, you're like a little kid, Jeff.
anything.
He
started it.
You're the kid who tells on everyone.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
You just did.
You called in to tell on Bobo that he's using a picture of me. Why don't you tell?
Call up and bring up Cameo, you motherfucker. I never say a word about it. Fucking silent. I call about topics, you stupid bastard. Stay off my fucking radar. Don't get me fucking pissed.
Maybe we should
What
change.
happens when you get pissed?
Yeah,
He's
they're
like-
stupid topics, but they're topics anyway.
Jeff the snitch.
Hey, did you see me post that picture?
What?
Did you see me post the picture of Bobo's account?
What?
Hey, it's a picture.
You know why you're freaking out, Jeff? You heard Pitch Erik on here the other day during the weigh-in.
The weigh-in, yeah.
And he happens to mention that he made $70,000 fucking dollars on Cameo.
I knew that he made that anyway.
Yeah, and you're freaking out.
I knew that for a long time.
How much did you make on
Not
Cameo?
A little over 10.
So you didn't make what Erik did. For whatever reason, Erik is more
No,
popular.
he's been doing that a lot longer. I realize all that.
And Erik is very
I know, but
entertaining on the air. You just complain about what
Howard.
you're not getting.
Howard,
Yeah.
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you,
To
Jeff.
one and
Now this
all.
is sad, Jeff.
They do an impression
No,
of
no,
sad
I'm
Jeff.
serious.
Howard,
Yeah.
I just want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Depressed Jeff.
I'm sorry.
After he turned into the Hulk.
Yeah.
Get a fucking job. That's what you do. Should work like me.
Shut the fuck up, Bobo.
7 fucking days a week I work. You couldn't even compare my work ethic.
There's the Hulk. Hey, Jeff, can we hear from the guy who just wished everyone happy Thanksgiving?
I would just like to thank all of you for your time today.
Sure.
Anybody want to hear from High Pitch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, Jeff, why are you making fun of me and Bobo and me and Bobo?
I'm not making fun of you at all, Eric. What are you talking about?
Bruce Banner.
I didn't say shit about you fat fuck.
You're fat too, you motherfucker. At least I have a job. I have a job. I do a Cameo for a living. What do? You do nothing on your ass.
Get the fuck up.
And also, Jeff falling down the escalator.
Oh.
Holy motherfucker.
Jeff,
That
what?
was the
If you ever
funniest
want to
thing
see
ever.
Erik laugh uncontrollably,
Yeah.
show him the video of Jeff falling on the escalator at the Jimmy Kimmel after party.
Right.
How about
Erik
the elevator?
nearly pissed his
Funny.
pants. I've never seen him laugh like this. It's something about Jeff.
Oh, wow.
Who recorded that?
That's funny shit.
Oh my God, I got tears rolling down my eyes.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Isn't on my pitch spinning it?
Oh, my gosh. It's getting
Yeah, happy
worse.
Thanksgiving, Howard, and Jeff, fuck off.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Bobo.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, yeah, we have a good one.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving, all.
Bruce Banner signing off.
Have a great afternoon.
It's like somebody put a pin in him.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know.
Okay, Sarah, good morning.
Good morning. After watching JD try to use the lighter on the app, I was wondering if he's ever tried to put in contacts.
Funny you say that. I was clipping my nails this weekend, and I was wondering if JD can clip his own nails, because if he doesn't have the dexterity to light a lighter, how could he use a nail clipper and clip his own nails?
JD is
Yeah, I
a
don't
waste
think he
of two thumbs.
Yeah, JD, can you work a nail clipper? I was
Thanks,
thinking,
Robin. Jesus.
JD, can you work a nail clipper?
Yes, I can work a nail clipper. I clipped my nails this weekend.
What about you? Don't wear contacts, do you?
I did in high school, but not anymore.
And you were able to put them in?
Yeah. One of the reasons I hated taking them off and putting them in, so that's one of the reasons I just stayed with glasses.
Can you tie your own shoes?
Yes, I can tie my own.
Do you have to make like the baby way of doing it, or can you do it with a single loop?
A single loop? I don't know what.
In other words, there's two ways of tying your shoes. When you're a little kid, they first teach you to make two loops and then tie them together. But then when you become a little more grown up, you make one loop and then you wrap the thing around it, and then, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I make two loops and I go under it.
He does the baby way.
Yep.
You don't know the adult way, right?
I didn't know there was an adult way and a baby way. I just tie my shoes.
What is he wearing a bow tie for today? Is that
He's part of the high pitch Eric
Okay.
weigh-in. He'll be actually putting the books on the scale.
I see.
While we weigh Eric. Looks handsome today. Looks good.
Thank you.
I like my boy.
Maybe the bow tie is his luck.
Can you light a match like from a matchbook?
I think so. Yeah, I haven't really done it.
I bet you couldn't.
I'll try, but I don't want to set anything on fire.
You know what I mean? Like those paper matches?
Yeah,
Like in the little books. Yeah.
I don't think he can do it. We should do a game. What can JD do?
Well, let's look up all the things you need your thumb for.
Because he can't tie his shoes like a grown-up.
Can you snap your fingers?
No way. Oh,
he
look at
can.
that.
Oh, very
Wow.
nice.
Nice crisp sound.
Yeah.
Hey, Wolfie, what's up?
Howard, a couple things. First off, could you ask JD about the way that he ties his shoes? Because when I observed him that day, he did something really weird. He tucks the loops into the side of the shoes next to his ankles. I've never seen that before.
Well, that was when the laces of my shoes were too long and I was stepping on them. I don't have that anymore.
Why don't you double knot it?
I don't like the double knot.
You want me to teach you the grown-up way to tie? I'm being serious. I'll teach you today.
And I'm fine.
Can you tie a tie?
No, I do not know how to tie a tie.
Hey, JD, could you split a piece of firewood with an axe?
No, probably not, no.
Could you drive a nail into a board using a hammer?
He's ignoring you.
I hear what you said, what?
I can't listen and chew gum at the same time. I'm sorry.
Hey now. I'm going to play a couple of things that have been happening, including Sal's weird pronunciations. You know the word villa?
Yeah.
I have a villa in France, perhaps you'd say. He calls it a villa.
I hate to say this.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
But
in Italian.
Get out of here. You're in America, asshole. First of all, I'll tell you what. You're not from Italy. You didn't grow up in Italy. You've never been in Italy. Right.
I've been to Italy.
Yeah, okay. Here's Sal from the wrap-up show yesterday. Listen to this guy.
Women love men who are successful. So you have to play the success card. You have to paint the big picture. 90% of the time, a woman is not going to be attracted to the average guy right off the bat. But if you give her a reason, like you have a mansion, like you have a place in the Hamptons, like you have a villa in Italy, stuff that most likely she won't see.
What do you have in Italy?
I have a villa in Italy.
A villa. You've heard of a villa.
That's the best. I have a villa.
When Gary said, "What do you have in Italy?" I thought he was saying, like, you're really exaggerating. You
I've
couldn't
never seen a
possibly-
guy, because you seem like a bright guy to me. Honestly,
Thank
you do.
I think I'm a bright guy, but in
Yeah.
Italy, they say villa. They say bene sta villa.
Forget Sal being an idiot with the word villa.
Okay.
Listen to this. This is from the wrap-up show. Don't get caught up in what the content is. Just
Okay,
listen to
just
this
listen
word.
to the
Listen to
pronunciation.
it.
Do you know do you remember what that whole Jim Jones thing was about?
Yeah. He had an occult. He gave all these people Kool-Aid and they dropped dead.
Wait, he had what?
He had this occult. I think it's called an occult.
Right.
So in Italy, they say occult?
They say, where did you get that one from?
Yeah. How'd you learn how to say that wrong?
Well, a cult. I heard then it was cult, not a cult. But an occult is, I think it's a combination. It's like satanic groups. They're occults. But I thought it's the same thing. It's as long as it's a group
Sal,
of weird
do you
people.
ever read? Do you ever like take an interest in anything?
Consult the dictionary.
Sal, when
Too
people
busy.
are saying occult, they're not saying occult. They're saying a, and then a word C-U-L-T, cult.
A cult.
And then there is the occult.
The occult or occult is, holy cow! I can't
When I
believe
see
I'm-
occult, O-C-C-U-L-T, whatever it is, and you hear people saying occult, I'm always thinking it's occult. No, I never distinguish the difference between a cult and a cult. When you
Holy cow! Where did you grow up, man? And don't give me this bullshit.
I grew
you
up
say
in Holbrook.
villa because you were in Italy.
Yeah, because when you're in Italy, they're
Okay.
like, come to my villa.
You know, he says that like from Transylvania. I want you to come to my villa.
Yes.
By the way, I just heard on the wrap-up show, Fafafui has some small desire to throw another first pitch.
What?
Yes. I mean, that's what I said.
What?
I was like, what? I can't imagine why he'd want to revisit the single most humiliating moment in his life.
He thinks if he goes out and throws another pitch, it'll make this one go away.
Right.
This one is never going away.
By the way, I don't think that, Robin, but a lot of people around me are trying to convince me of that because they want to see me make a fool of myself.
Yeah, there's no upside because, Gary, if you even throw a perfect pitch, they're still going to go, but look at his first time he did it.
I had that thought for like a half a second on the wrap-up show, and then I was over it in 10 minutes. But the guys on the show were like, no, imagine the redemption. You go out there and you do it. And I go, it's just another reason for them to show the first pitch.
Why did you?
There's no upside.
What were you thinking when you were kind of contemplating throwing the first pitch? Were you having a fantasy that you'd go out there and throw a great pitch and all would be forgiven?
I still know I could do better, but yeah, I don't want to get into the. I don't want to even go down that road anymore.
If you want to consider the second time trying it, he did do it again on Jimmy Kimmel's television show live.
And messed up again.
He hits a woman in the audience with the ball in the head.
I did it in high heels on the Jimmy Kimmel show and had no problem putting
That's
it right
true.
in Jimmy's glove.
I know.
And I didn't practice. I don't throw balls. I don't do anything.
Gary, you were really mad at Jimmy Kimmel for making you do that, right? He kind of put you on the spot. Yeah.
I was at one point. I got over it.
Why didn't you hit him, not that woman?
Yeah.
Robin, if you stand there with a bit, I'm sure I can hit you right in the face.
10 years later, news anchors are still goofing on Gary.
I know. And they're never going to give that up.
Anchor Raul Martinez showed tape of himself throwing out the first pitch. Another anchor then mentioned Gary's pitch. So even when these guys are just talking about something completely other than Gary, Gary makes his way in.
Look at this. I got the little shot. Look at the off speed, right? Oh, over the plate.
If you follow the Howard Stern show, Baba Booey had one of the greatest first pitches ever. 2 or 3 hops before it got to the...
Thanks, Bull.
I mean, that was just recently.
Well, not only was it 2 or 3 hops, it went away from the home plate. It trailed off somehow.
I meant to do that.
A football player named Denard Robinson botched his first pitch. A news anchor referenced Baba Booey when discussing the pitch.
It's amazing how hard that is to do.
One bad step there, and all of a sudden you're Baba Booey.
that is true.
Gary hates that anchors goof on him, right, Gary?
Well, I just think that all these guys are, big shots until, even Robin, I'd like to see you go out in front of a whole crowd. Not that you said you could do it, but, everybody's a big shot when they're on the air.
At a recent Chicago White Sox game, an employee at the ballpark was given a chance to throw out the first pitch. She accidentally hit a cameraman right in front of her. Of course, Gary's pitch was mentioned in the story.
Let's watch it one more time. Oh, that's the wrong way.
Yeah.
You released it just a little bit late.
It starts out and it doesn't look that bad.
Oh, Howard Stern's producer, Gary Dell'Abate, back in the day, he threw one that was one for the ages, too. Just awful. He practiced and practiced. Man, under pressure.
I mean, that'll be part of your obituary when you die.
The world's shittiest pitcher.
Well, don't you believe it would be in his obituary?
I'm not sure.
I think it would be.
I think people would feel bad enough to keep it out of his obituary.
But they'll say it as a fun thing, like, hey, Howard Stern's longtime producer, Gary Baba Booey Dell'Abate, known for not only his work on the radio, but also for his legendary bad pitch when he threw out the first pitch in a Mets game.
I don't think it's out of the question that it would turn up in there.
I think it will.
Could you die, Gary, so we can say, oh.
And it'll be like, people who throw horrible pitches across America in his honor are called the Baba Booeys. Like, there might even be a cult. Mamet was telling me he really thinks Gary should throw the first pitch.
The whole office is pulling for him, honestly. It would be the funnest, coolest thing ever if Gary did it.
Are you saying it because you want to see him fail, or are you saying...
That would be great. That would be funny, but I would also like to see him succeed, too. I think it would be cool. I think it would be great for the show.
It would be big.
But if I did it and I killed
would be
right?
huge.
Everyone would be like, so what?
What do you think he should do, Sal?
He shouldn't do it again.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely not. Because I think he's going to do it really, really well. And then he's going to just brag about it and gloat that he did it well and he made a mistake. I think he should definitely not do it.
You wouldn't want to see me succeed, Sal.
I would. But you fucking up is you succeeding.
This is so much fun that Gary fucked it up that if he did it well, then it would dissipate.
Like when you see a clown at a circus, if it doesn't fuck up and fall down and slip, you're not laughing.
Right.
But I don't think anybody will ever remember Gary throwing a good pitch.
I agree, Robin.
But the thing is, Gary Howard just said that announcers say, oh, I could do it. Gary said that for years before this pitch.
You said that he was acting like a big shot before his first pitch.
Yes,
like,
that's what Gary fails to realize. You said it, Gary. You said you could do it. And you said I threw like a girl and Jason threw like a girl and we were incompetent.
You're right.
And then you went out there and made the biggest shithead out of yourself. So, touche.
I didn't know about all that.
To me.
It's true. Like, he used to goof on the way you throw.
Yes.
Now
As a
he
matter of
can't.
fact, I think I could pitch better than Gary, and I've never thrown a ball in my life.
Did you just say touche to me?
To myself.
So you're saying Gary no longer can be bragging in the halls how he's so great at
Not
it.
at all. Not only did he
Compared to
screw
you
up at
and
City
Jason.
Field, which was a tremendous amount of pressure. Okay, I'll give him that much. Then Jimmy Kimmel, a small little studio.
Right.
What does he hit? He hits a lady out of all people. I mean,
In the head.
yeah, there was a giant stage there. He could have went over them. He hit a poor, helpless lady in the head.
She was
Don't do this.
nowhere near Jimmy Kimmel.
She was in Wisconsin.
All right. Thank you, Sal.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. There's Sal weighing in.
Bye for now.
The Howard Stern Show.